we look at various factors like the NFT as such,
Mm-hmm.
and then we also score an individual. By individual, I mean wallets. So we score the wallet, we score the NFT, and we come to a conclusion where which is wash traded, which user is malicious. So we dig into different levels.
Welcome to the EcomXFactor podcast, where it's all about launching and scaling your business using sales funnels, automations, and smart marketing. And now, please welcome your host, the founder of EcomXFactor, Yaron Bin.
Hi Vijay, how are you?
I'm great, Aaron. I'm really great. Thanks. And you?
I'm doing great. Very excited to a conversation. I mean, I think we scheduled it a few times and then we postponed, mostly on my fault, but I'm happy we finally are meeting because I'm very excited. We have a lot to discuss and a lot of topics that I don't know much about, and you're an expert. So it's going to be definitely interesting and fascinating. So for the audience that might not know you, although you have a huge following on LinkedIn and Twitter, do you mind sharing a bit about your fascinating background story?
Yeah, for sure. So first up, the important thing is that we are sitting here today in front of the microphones and PCs to do this podcast. So I don't mind how many reschedules that have happened in the past, but I'm glad that we made it finally.
Mhm.
And just to give you an intro and your community an intro, myself, I'm Vijay Pravin Maharajan, originally coming from India, but then living in Munich, the city of Oktoberfest for the last 11 years, 10 and a half years now.
Uh-huh.
And the reason why I moved here is to do my master's. I did my master's in electrical engineering and information technology in TU Munich, one of the famous reputed institutions here. And then I worked for companies like Volkswagen, leading automobiles, and then Siemens, two German OGs in the Web2
Mhm.
space. And then I started bitsCrunch amidst pandemic. And we crunch each and every bits of data behind NFTs. Uh, it's going well. We are going growing leaps and bounds. Raised $6.5 million from some of the best names in the industry like Coinbase, Animoca brands, uh, Polygon, and Chainlink, and so on. So yeah, happy, glad that I was able to pull the right strings to build bitsCrunch. And here you go, right in front of you, because of the work that I did for bitsCrunch, I believe.
Amazing. Yeah, and besides bitsCrunch, you also have like a bit to in a moment I would like you to elaborate about bitsCrunch, but just to give the whole picture, you also have like a B2C product which is Unleash NFTs. Am I correct?
Yes, unleashnfts.com is not a standalone entity. It is part of bitsCrunch. It is powered by bitsCrunch. Right now, it is centralized. By centralized, I mean the data buckets are stored in AWS or Google's of the world, but pretty soon it will grab data from decentralized networks. By that, I mean people can query the data on a decentralized network in a permissionless way. So that means anybody can access the data without having to have a middleman. They don't have to talk to Vijay to get an API key. They don't have to talk to anybody from my team to grab the data. So we are going to make it as simple as possible.
Awesome, great. And I can see that you've been already on many podcasts because you know that you need to define everything in the Web3 space and to explain like the terms because some people might not necessarily be familiar with these terms. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Do you mind elaborating about bitsCrunch? Where, how did you come up with the idea? What was it at the beginning? What changes have you made or pivots that you make? And what is it right now?
Mhm. So like I said, if you look at my profile, my personal profile, all these 8 to 10 years of professional life with Telefonica, Volkswagen, and Siemens, I have been a data professional. So I've led teams in data science. I've been a data analyst, data scientist, data visualization expert. So I always have this affinity towards data.
Mhm.
And when I was seeing this NFT space booming back in 2021, 2020, 2021, I was like, what the hell is this? That was the initial impression, because NFTs were just a digital picture, right? I mean, the picture that you see hanging at the back of you, or a modern picture that you just hang on the wall, that is now being translated into a digital asset, and they are calling it as a non-fungible token. So I was like totally astonished. I was like surprised on what's going on in this space. And being a techie myself, I just sort of shared this information to a couple of friends of mine, colleagues of mine, and then we put together a small team. I mean, I wouldn't call that as a team, but then more of a friendly conversation. But to my good, good, good things, blockchain is open source. So anybody can openly crawl, look at the data, and see what's happening on public blockchains like Ethereum's and Polygons. So we started digging that, and we participated in a couple of hackathons just to get a fair bit of idea on what others are building, what we could build. And slowly but steadily, we somehow ended up exploring NFT data, right? And that was the beginning. But now you could see that we are providing a platform that gives investors in the sense retail users like you and me, an investment decision through our platform, through unleashnfts.com. Now people are making investment decisions.
So do you mind sharing like what attributes, let's say I'm a retail trader, I'm a retail NFT trader. So I know it's very hard to determine the price of an NFT. This is one of like the biggest pains. So what attributes should one look for? What attributes are you guys offering? I know your website is mentioning a lot about regarding wash trading. So do you mind just giving a brief overview about how do you price NFTs and the attributes that need to be taken into account?
Sure. So, I mean, we have three different verticals, I would say. I mean, not products as such, but everything that we do will be integrated onto unleashnfts.com. That's like the end customer, end product that we would converge. So first thing that we look into is wash trading. What do I mean by that? Wash trading is a technique that traders use to flip tokens. So let's say if this microphone or this pen that is on my hand right now is an NFT, is a digital art, digital gaming asset or something. Let's say I have a couple of friends like Yaron, Stephen, Albert, and Alex. I keep trading this particular asset back and forth just to inflate its price. Right. I just upload an asset as an NFT on a marketplace like Amazon, for instance, which is priced at $10 per se. And then I pump the price from $10 to $1,000 or $500 in a matter of time and transactions. It is well and truly possible because the space is new. There is no monitoring system. There is nobody to keep track of what's going on. And on top of this, blockchain is highly complex, right? For a layman like Yaron or Vijay, it's really tough to understand the data nuances, the nitty-gritties of the blockchain. And that's why we want to bring trust and transparency by looking into these wash trade models, wash trade patterns. So far, we have detected 11 plus patterns, 11, 12 patterns of wash trades that are going on. And with the help of these metrics, I mean, not just wash trade metrics, but we look into 56 KPIs, 56 metrics. By that, I mean, what is the previous sale history? What are the previous past owners? Which wallet held this asset for how long? So we sort of have the entire database, entire library of an asset, and we do it like a flight map where which NFT is connected to which wallet. It's like a visualization tool that you can also expect on Unleash quite soon. And the third vertical is the copy mints. Let's say Vijay mints an NFT on OpenSea, which is one of the famous marketplaces. And a friend of mine named Yaron comes in after 3 months. He says, okay, I'm going to just right click, save it as an image and mint it as a separate NFT. Right? It is possible. So he does that on, let's say, Rarible or Blur marketplace, which is other options.
Yeah.
Blockchain doesn't know that. It just mints you and gives you an NFT. And there are so many people who fall as a prey for copy mints.
Wow.
So in short, we are like the police of NFTs.
That's
We are
amazing.
like the surveillance. We are like the surveillance of NFTs.
Do you mentioned 11 patterns? So I can't imagine, maybe because obviously my knowledge is limited, especially when it comes to NFT and wash trading. So what do you mean by pattern? And do you mind giving like a few examples of the most popular patterns?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one obvious pattern is, let's say, I myself, Vijay, I can create multiple wallets, right?
Yeah.
Be it MetaMask or be it any other phantom wallets or any wallet. I can create multiple wallets. I can trade any asset back and forth between myself,
Yeah.
right? Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. But people see that things are moving upwards
Yeah.
in price wise. And there are cases where people uh, engage with friends, like
Yeah.
multiple wallets. Let's say A sends it to B sends it to C sends it to D, and
Yeah.
then D sends it back to A. So in that way, people see, oh, okay, there is some nice transaction
Yeah.
going on. There is a nice thread, and then people immediately go into it and buy it. And why do people actually do it is because of the marketplace incentives as well. Like let's say Rarible has Rari tokens, Blur has Blur tokens, so they just pretend to be a frequent trader in order to obtain those marketplace rewards at the end of a week,
Yeah.
right? And there are complex patterns like, for instance, let's say if Aaron has $100,000 in your bank account, I wish you have that in real life, but just saying. So you have $100,000 and you're not sure about NFTs, right? So you send that $100,000, you take it to an exchange or something, and then you're sending it to Vijay's wallet as crypto, let's say USDC or USDT. And then by doing that, you're funding me a money which is non-existent on my account. And what I do is I use this amount to wash trade, and get marketplace incentives. And then I grab a couple of people who buy my NFTs, and then I channelize these money back onto you in a form of cash, where I can hand it over to you as cash, right? So there are multiple patterns that we are spotting, and this is where AI is helping us out. I mean, I'm sure right now AI is the hottest topic. AI has been the hottest topic nowadays, right? Like with the advent of ChatGPT. But we are using AI since 2021. So we are not just using AI for the sake of using AI, but then we are really
For sure.
using AI since 2021.
Amazing. So I saw in your website before hopping on the call a few examples from like very famous collections that were wash trading. So how did you figure this out that it was wash trading?
Wash trading is something that you cannot really put an end to, right? You cannot really stop, right? It's more like market making for a token, right? Imagine if there is Ethereum, Bitcoins, and all the other tokens that are trading in the market. These are also take a little bit support from market makers, right? So you cannot really put an end to this whole thing. But then once it is out, it is publicly available on blockchain. So that's where we want to bring this trust and transparency. We want to show, yes, if Vijay releases a collection of 100 NFTs, we want to show the best NFT, we want to show the worst NFT, right? We want to show which NFTs were traded, were flipped back and forth by people, and we want to show which assets were held longer, which accrued value naturally. So yeah.
I see. So it's a spectrum that basically shows the likelihood of wash trading.
Exactly. Sort of, we have an internal score. I mean, this is something confidential that we have internally, where we call it a sort of a credit score. I mean, here in Germany, they call it a Schufa score. In other parts of the world, they call it a credit score, where we look at various factors like the NFT as such, and then we also score an individual. By individual, I mean wallets. So we score the wallet, we score the NFT, and we come to a conclusion where which is wash traded, which user is malicious, So we dig into different levels.
Amazing. So, with regards to AI, you mentioned that you've been using AI for long now. I'm assuming that you did this for like data science purposes, like analyzing the trends and huge data sets, and analyzing based on making predictions of what might be wash trading and what like training and studying. So do you mind elaborating regarding the size of maybe your team and developers, the technology behind this?
So we are already a team of a little bit over 30. So
Mhm.
10, we have a handful of team in India. I mean, I come from India, so uh, for 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 obvious reasons, we have team in India because we could speak the same language, and we know people there, right? I mean, we could hire easily,
Nice.
fast and simple. We have connections there, so we have a team of 20 spread across India, and then we have a
Mhm.
team of 10 outside India. So in total, we have roughly 32 people, including interns, six in Germany. So you could call it a brain sits in Germany, and then the heart or the body
Nice.
sits in India. And then our sales, business development, and growth is handled by people across Canada, US, and South Korea. So we have quite a number of international people in the team who are also spread across Canada, US, and South Korea who take care of the sales and BD. And yeah, we are handling terabytes of data. So
Mm.
the tech team is obviously the heavier one. We are a tech savvy team. We are roughly 18, 19 people on the tech side, and then on the sales, marketing, growth, design, and then this part of the side is 10 to 11 people. Yeah.
Amazing. And as a CEO of such a big company and growing company in the NFT vertical, which is, as you mentioned, is quite suffering. So I assume that you make pretty much big effort in order to keep everybody like on the mission, building and incentivize everybody, even though the market is during a bull run, a bear run. So how are you keeping like the motivation of keep on going?
That's one of the toughest things that I have to do as a CEO, right? I mean, I try to keep them engaged, keep them uh, motivated. That is probably one of the reasons why I had to travel to India quite often in
Mhm.
recent times. I hit conferences like anything, like anyone. I have been to US thrice. I have been to Paris. I have been to Singapore. I have been to Dubai. So I lead from the front, right? I want people to take myself as an inspiration where they see me everywhere, right? One day I'll be in India, and the next day I'll be in Germany, and then the next week I'll be in US. So I want people to see the hard work and the toil that I do, the sacrifices that I do for my family and so on. So yeah, that's those are the reasons, the things that I take from my own personal
Mhm.
life and professional life for people to look at things, and also being well known on the social media. So
Mhm.
for instance, like I said, I'm being followed by 50,000 people on LinkedIn and a few thousand people on Instagram and Twitter. That also allows people to see me, what I am
Mhm.
doing. And these bull and bear cycles are the toughest, right? I mean, in bull
Mhm.
market, nobody cares. They just build. And the bear cycles, people tend to leave their workplace. They tend to switch sometimes. People lose their jobs in bearish conditions.
Mhm.
But I always say one thing. I'm a chief entertaining officer here. That you can always ping. So there are no hierarchies here in the organization. Even though we are 30, everybody has direct access to myself or the management. Uh, so yeah, we maintain a clean and transparency across the board, across the team.
Amazing. That's great, and I appreciate the attitude because I know it's probably challenging during I mean the times when the market isn't isn't bullish. Um, as someone that is inside, I don't want you to give like predictions, but have you been seeing? I mean, a lot of people are talking about the Bitcoin halving that will affect a lot of things. Do you see any other big trends emerging? I'm not asking for a prediction when will the market change or be like bullish, but are you seeing any trends emerging since, let's say, the FTX issues?
Mhm. I mean, the market has been a little bumpy over the last few months. Everybody expected a very bearish condition because of the macroeconomic conditions that is going on, right? I mean, you see some of the big companies in the world, like the Googles and Apples and Microsofts, they kept firing people, like not just in hundreds but thousands of people got fired. And then the US economy is in deep crisis. There is a war going on in Ukraine and Russia. We just came out of a pandemic. So there were so many factors, so many attributes which were contributing to the whole economy. And in spite of all of this, the market, if you ask me, it's even though it's bumpy, it's pretty good, right? I mean, when you look at the whole S&P 500, which is brutally down, I look up to crypto market and I still see Bitcoin trading at 1/3 of the price that it was trading at the top. So NFT market, to be precise, it's very down. That's understandably because that's like the baby of the crypto space, right? I mean, crypto in general took 10 to 13 years to be in a position now, like in $1 trillion market cap, and NFTs are barely scratching the floor. If you ask the market cap, if you see the market cap, it's just around 10 billion. Even 10 billion looks smaller to the whole crypto space. But I believe the market will gradually go on the upward curve. Again, no financial advice here.
For sure.
No prediction, no financial advice here. But I expect the market to go up in the second half of the year, where somewhere around August to December, we will see a little bit upward curve as we approach the Bitcoin halving. And as the history, which repeats by itself, Bitcoin halving is always a point, a tip where the market changes. So yeah, I expect, like every other crypto bros out there.
Yeah, for sure. But one thing to know though, I'm a bit in the space and I see still a lot of big brands still creating NFTs. So it's not as if people are neglecting it. It just, I think, less traders, less people that are not involved or coming in, but still things are developing. People are building, big brands are investing.
That's totally true. I mean, if you look at the whole bull and bear cycles, trust me, NFTs had just had one bull cycle, right? The whole crypto space might have seen quite a number of bull cycles, but the NFT space just saw one bull cycle. And even if you closely zoom in, how many number of brands that are stepping into NFT space was like astonishing, right? I mean, look at Adidas, Nike, Reebok, what is this? Tiffany and Co, Mastercard, Reddit, Visa, and then recently Porsche launched an NFT collection. And Amazon is rumored to launch its own NFT marketplace. So the brands keep coming. And then do you think the brands wouldn't have done a research by themselves, right? So they have all the big money from the Web2 space. So they want to create an exclusive community so that they can also be an early adopter to this NFT space. I mean, look at Starbucks. They are providing NFTs, and through NFTs they are giving some free coffees, some freebies that are nice to see, especially during these bear cycles, right?
Awesome. So I think we've covered already a lot. I would like to maybe make a follow-up episode and like dive deeper into the technicalities, because it's very fascinating. But I want to be respectful of your time. So I think that we can start concluding the conversation. Is there anything that you wanted to discuss today that we haven't mentioned, or any final thoughts?
Yeah, sure, Aaron. I mean, the last few minutes, I believe 30 plus minutes flew like anything.
Mhm.
And thanks again for having me in your podcast series. So yeah, I want people to look into unleashnfts.com if
Mhm.
they want to explore NFTs. It's more like an exploratory tool. Like even if you don't know what is an NFT, you can just go into unleashnfts.com. There are quite a number of education materials as well on the website. And we also recently announced an incentivized testnet, which we plan to take all these decentralized manner. So probably, I mean, you could drop these links in the
For sure.
description once you release your this podcast. But yeah, happy to connect with people as well. They can find me on LinkedIn and Twitter on Vijay Pravin Maharajan, Vijay Pravin with M at the end. And yeah, would love to get your people engagement, and would love to get some feedback as well.
Awesome, great. Yeah, we will definitely share the links in the show notes. And I guess that's it. I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much for sharing the knowledge and insights. I think it's a very important topic, actually, especially for people. I mean, people that are not completely in the Web3 game, but considering to enter. So these are things that people need to look into, wash trading, stuff like this. So I'm glad that we covered that. And thanks again.
Yep, thanks. Was a pleasure talking to you, and looking forward to the release of this conversation. Thanks.
Bye bye. Take care.